evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Also, we utilize the SeaTac Repeater Association's 08 machine, WW7STR 147.08 for our voice contacts for our nets held on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, if you Google WW7ATS, Google WW7ATS, that'll take you to our homepage where you'll find out more about our club and also the frequencies we transmit on. Also there you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets that are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM.
Make an announcement.
And Bob makes an announcement.
Hey everybody, for those that didn't hear me on Zoom, that joined after I got started on all this, Richard's IP has changed. I'm going to try to be filling Richard's role here to get you guys on through Zoom. I have no idea how well it's going to work, but I'll give it a shot. So just I'd let you know that up front. Back to the control, K9PQ.
PQ, got your message. Thanks for that. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So far, checked into the net via video link has been Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Lee, N7KC, Bob, K9PQ, and Richard on the side observing the net this evening. And also we have Jim, N7QO, James, WW7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. If there's anybody else that would like to check into the net this evening. Hearing none, let's start off the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group. KD7QKU here in Tacoma, as most of you know. Well, I've been playing ham radio again, probably off and on all week, pretty heavily the last couple of days. I've been talking to my friend in Boise. He's a ham radio guy. He likes QRP. He sent me the little yellow radio that I had here. You know, he gave that to me. I showed it to you guys before, but I can show it again. So we've been, I was talking about mostly half-wave length in-fed antennas, and I don't know if you guys probably haven't seen this QRP guys. QRP guys have a neat little antenna that you put together. And then we talked about power supplies, we talked about batteries. He does a lot of this PODA, parks on the air, and he thinks I should do that, so I don't know. But if you do that, I need a battery. I talked to Lee about batteries today, too. And then I was thinking almost about maybe getting another radio, but I pretty much decided against that. My radio will go down to 10 watts, and that's kind of the threshold of GRP, or whatever it is, QRP. They go lower than that, but 10 watts is okay. So anyway, I decided to keep my radio. He made a suggestion that was really good. It's hard to change bands, change frequencies. You have to kind of do a digit at a time. He said, well, just go to 20, 40, 60, 80, 10, and just put it in memory. And then you can just go there, and then you can start from there. Yeah, and I did that. That works so much better. I just go to 28, dial around, whatever. So anyway, yeah, that was a good deal. So I guess my old radio's good enough for now. So back to that KD7QKU.
7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK. Hope she's keeping dry with all that water behind her.
7UHK up here at Everett. Let's see, I don't see what temperature it is, but it's cold out there. As I look at this meter that Mr. Bond is showing on the computer here, and my blurry eyes and dyslexia, I thought it said current depth that was sitting at 0, which I kind of enjoyed that, but that's not what it says. It's a great picture though. I went up to the house today and moved around a few bricks, and they have the sign that they got knocked down in last year's windstorm that sat in front of the house. And we took it apart, cleaned it up, put it back together again, and put in new light bulbs, new globe light bulbs, kind of like your incandescent bulbs, but they're all LED now. And so when we eventually put it all back up and put it back up outside, it's going to look glorious. And we're going to have a new plastic made for it so that it says something like Sylvia Stips Photography or something. I don't know. She's designing that part of it. But I just got the electrical part working, and it looks really nice. It's really, really bright. And it's like a 1950s style reader board that you can slip letters into, which I have all the letters for too. So that's what I've been doing today. This is KF7UHK.
UHK. Well, let's make a big leap over to Port Angeles to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, very good. Am I in? Am I getting in there okay? Okay. N7KC, Lee at Port Angeles. Well, this is a Hewlett Packard Clip 1 amp meter, which I have on the wind charger to a 12-volt, 55 ampere hour battery. We got some wind right now, and every now and then there's a peak, there's a kind of a gust comes through that runs it up to 6 or 8. The top scale is 0 to 10 amperes. And it runs up there pretty good. But as soon as you start to do something like this, the wind seems to go away. Natural law, of course, as you can expect that. So anyway, well, everything's okay over here. My plumbing job is coming along really nicely. I'll have the kitchen sink. Well, the grout has to dry 48 hours before I can seal it, and that will occur tomorrow at about 10 a.m. And so I can start sealing the grout and so forth, and putting the fixtures on it and getting it back together. But it's mostly, we can use it. It's all hooked up to the drain, and the dishwasher is now functional because that goes into the disposal. So I got all that stuff reassembled yesterday and back on, and all that. So we're doing pretty good. Feel good about it, and have it done here in short order. I was very pleased. This all started because Paul wanted a stainless steel sink, and yeah, so I took the old sink out and we went and got a stainless, but it wouldn't fit. So I took it back and decided to put the old one back in. It's a cast iron, a 2-bowl sink, and it weighs exactly 100 pounds. So I had to use a Hoyer lift to manage it in the house and so forth, and drop it in the hole and back and forth. And I put it in all by my lonesome. She wasn't home to help. So I just go over there and get that lift up, and the wheels had to go up on the lift below the sink and so forth, and then I could push it forward and drop it right in the hole. So I didn't have anything in the 2 holes in the bottom except the lifting strap. So it all went real well. Okay, my time's up, and we haven't had a darn gust of wind. You might know it, but maybe Appreciate it. So back to you, Dave, N7KT, Leah, Port Angeles.
Thanks for joining the net. And it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Bothell, to Bob, K9PQ.
A moment to get switched in here. Oh, yeah, hang on just a second. I guess somebody switched me in. I'd like to know who's doing what here, because I'm trying to do things and they're not working. And so I'd like to know who's actually pressing buttons. Well, anyway, good evening, everybody. And yeah, I'm frazzled because I tried at the last minute to do Richard's job, and in the process, the one tiny piece I forgot was to actually plug in my network cable to the Grand Stream. I unplug it so that I'm not sending out things I don't want to send out into the Ethernet, or to the internet rather, and so I had everything set up. I couldn't understand why things weren't working, and it's because I wasn't actually sending anything. It was stopping at my Grand Stream and never getting out to the net, to the internet. So things are okay now on my end, I'm afraid I didn't catch much of what you said, Lee. But something was 200 pounds. I don't know what that was that you got into the house, and I do remember the Hoyer lifts, though. We had one for Mom when she needed help getting in and out of bed and into her wheelchair, and they are amazing devices, I will say that. A little mini crane, and they work really well. Okay, I'll send it back to that K9PQ.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Bob. Well, let's see, getting back to Lee, it's not that his ship is sinking. He was adding a sink to his kitchen, getting that installed. So, let's go on to bypass Richard, who is listening out, and let's see if Wade is with us. He had checked in momentarily.
WW7ATS, just give me a minute here to switch myself in an RF. It'll just take me just a moment. And here we go. Just one more minute. There we go. Let's see, here we go. Alright, well, let me turn off my TV so you don't have to hear that annoying hum. So, yeah, it's been a good day. I'm getting over a pretty bad cold. I think the last time I spoke with you guys, I was pretty under the weather, and I had quite the laryngitis, and I couldn't speak very well. Most of that's subsided, and I'm back to my normal self today, just with a slight sniffle. Just been cleaning up around the house, doing chores, took my wife out to dinner tonight. Well, not dinner, we would have a few drinks at the local pub near our house, and now I'm just kind of getting back home and checking everything out on that here. So I'm going to turn it back to Dave. This is W7ITL back to net.
7ITL, well, welcome back to the net. Let's go on to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see. Ron, QRP antenna. I know that Bert has one. He got one specifically so that he could do some traveling. You could check with him. There are a whole bunch out there. I made a dipole that I would carry with me when I was traveling, and I actually taped it to the ceiling inside my hotel rooms. Of course, usually I was only there for one night or so, but a couple times maids walked in, and it's like, what is all this? But so
there are lots of choices. Make your own long wire, or and get a little tuner to go with it if you want, or you can get very sophisticated. I think the one that Bert has is kind of first class and is probably expensive. Also, regarding switching bands, I know that there are frequencies dedicated to CW QRP. I'm not sure about single sideband QRP because I don't have a sideband QRP rig. I have a CW QRP rig, so I didn't pay attention to that. But if you were specifically looking at CW QRP, there are frequencies dedicated to that, so you can look those up for each band. And let's see here. Lee, Bob, Jessica, at the time, I did not have a picture on 1.2, but now I do have a picture on 1.2. Well, now it's gone. Well, now it's back. Well, anyway, maybe we have some wind at the repeater or something. I don't know. But, anyway, okay there, Jessica. Bob, I saw you very well on 1.2. Wade, I see you on 1.2, and, oh man, you still do not sound like your usual self. Your voice is off just a little bit. I feel for you. Hang in there. It does sound like you're getting better, but sorry about that. And Lee, yeah, that's pretty cool. We did see a couple of gusts on the ammeter there, so we know the wind is up and down a little bit in Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
QO, let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Well, thank you. First signal report. The 1.2 megahertz signal tonight is scary good. It is like a solid 5 coming off Cougar Mountain tonight at my location. So, Jim, it's probably a new personality sensor we put in up at the site is detecting what's going on at your site. That's probably, I'm just going to say more than that. Oh, big buzz noise. Is anyone else hearing that on the 2 meters? Okay, well, I hope that goes away. My audio is still okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep transmitting because I'm getting a big buzzing noise all of a sudden that wasn't there before. Well, let's see. Programming radio. Ron, that's the way I do it now. I mean, and Lee was flashing up the QRP watering holes. I program in all the frequencies. I've just about forgotten how to spin a knob. And then you go to where the fish are. And that's how I'm running my radios these days. It was a kind of slow evolution. I didn't realize it happened until I was looking at refurbing a 1930s shortwave radio, and my goodness, there's no way to program it. What happened? What were those people thinking back then? Jessica, current debt, no, if you're talking about national current debt, there's no meter that can show that number that's big enough. It's not possible. But anyway, yes, dyslexia probably gives you just a prescience. You just don't know you have it. What you would experience now is death by demo. As soon as you put the meter up, I could have told you the wind would die instantly, and there would be no wind for this entire net. Now, if you take the camera away where you cannot easily show the meter again, then you will have a hurricane appear at your house and the meter will peg. That's how that works. Let's see, Bob, I am not pushing any buttons. Generally speaking now, I am leaving the repeater just on the number 3 output until someone tells me to do otherwise. So, just so you know that. Wade, it's good to hear that you look better. You sound better. You look better. I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. And by the way, drinks are dinner. That's, that's the same thing. Let's see. And anything Bert has, let's see, someone mentioned. Okay, well, signal report, I did see a movie. This is a video club, so you guys will want to hear about that next time. So this is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. David, take it away.
ID for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, a little bit of a chilly evening here in Lake City. I got 38 degrees on the barometer, and it's supposed to go down between 33 and 28 tonight. But boy, Monday night, talking 24 degrees, so get your Snuggies out, and you might want to get a sleeping bag on top of your bed at night to keep your Snuggies warm. And let's see, for Ron, with QRP, you could get a 3 dB pad and use your radio at 10 watts, and that would drop it down to 5 watts for QRP, and you could use the radio that you have. It would be pretty good to get on the radio with QRP that way without having to get any other radios activated. And I'm looking forward to staying warm tonight. I guess my furnace will be tested out, which I got installed last March, so far it's been keeping up, but it's going to be challenged in the next couple of days, so we'll have to see how well it steps up, and so far it's worked marvelously. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City, and oh yes, I did vote today. The voting tabs came in on the mail for the city of Seattle, so I got that election done, filled out, and be in the mail tomorrow. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is KD7QKU again. Well, Jim, there's no CW for me. I'm not a CW operator. And as far as my radio goes, Randy tells me 10 watts. It goes down to 10 watts. He tells me 10 watts is just fine on QRP. So I wouldn't have to do anything to the radio. And as far as the antennas go, I have a nice in-bed wire that works really good on 10 meters. That's what I talk on every day, been for the last week or so here. I used to carry it in the motorhome. Had a fishing sinker on a piece of rope on one end, and I'd throw it over a limb, and then the other end of the rope I'd tie to the ladder on the motorhome and run the coax through the window and hook it up to this radio right here, and it worked just fine. And I had the radio hooked into the batteries in the motorhome. But if you're going to do a portable operation, I would need a little battery. Looking at those lithium phosphate, I guess it is, batteries. Anyway, yeah, so the antenna is resident and the SWR is real low, so I really never have used an antenna tuner on it, so this works fine. So I would take that wherever I went, and I might, if I've got anything, I might get a fiberglass push-up pole or something, so I could stick it up in the air if there was no tree to anchor it to. But that would be about it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Wade. I don't know. Wade, there's activators on POTA, Parks, and there's hunters. So I don't know. Wade was probably an activator. He's the guy that sets up. There's, I think QRZ has a form and everything, and you need to fill out and join, and then everybody finds you on the computer and stuff. That's what Randy was telling me. I got to look into that. Wade was saying I wasn't putting out any RF. Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't put my TV transmitter on. The picture's so poor, it isn't worth looking at. So anyway, I've been having fun. Let's see. I'm trying to think what everybody else is talking about. I like Jim's hat. He's got a new hat, or maybe new to us, but it looks really nice. Looks like he's going on safari, really. But anyway, it's a really neat hat. Well, I guess that's it for now. Turn it back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Looks like Indiana Jones, actually, that hat there. But on NPR, I've been listening to this podcast that Anna King has been putting out called Ghost Herd. It's about this guy over in eastern Washington, a place called Basin City, Washington, had a cattle ranch and decided to bilk the Tyson company by saying he had 265,000 more heads of cattle than he actually had, so that he could collect on things like feed and maintenance to these non-existent cattle. They're on episode 3 out of 6, and you can go find them on KUOW.org. Great story, and Anna King tells the story really well. And this guy just recently, in 2023, just went to jail for 11 years for his misdeeds. But down in Basin City, I had to go check it out on Google Earth, and I said, they have this rodeo down there, which sounds very redneck, and I thought, this sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to go to this rodeo. And I was looking it up, seeing where it was, and by gosh, it is as the crow flies, only about 13 miles away from LIGO, and that's the Laser Interferometer Geomagnetic Observatory. And this is the device that just recently found those two black holes that ran into each other, and this thing detected it. And I want to go to see the LIGO, which is also very close to Hanford. And I thought it was very interesting. So if you have a chance, and if you want to hear a great story that Anna King tells, go find Ghost Herd. It's on NPR. This is KF7 UHK.
UHK, thanks for that. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles, and wish him well with a little wind coming up.
Okay, very good. This is N7KC in Port Angeles. Well, actually, we don't really like the wind over here because we got some big trees near the house. But they stayed up in one of our biggest windstorms here a few years ago, and the ground's not particularly wet right now, so I think they're pretty well established. Well, it's pretty much tailed off now. We were getting quite a bit of wind before the net started, and I did catch a couple there. You can see it, but I'll tell you, my wind generator only puts out. We do not have steady wind here. It just is not the way it works. And our prevailing wind comes from the northwest to the north-northwest, right down the strait. And doggone if I don't have 3 big trees right there, right smack in front of the wind generator in the direction of our prevailing wind. So that's kind of bad. So when it comes from the northwest, like it is now, north-northeast to northeast, and the north, well then and the east, it responds just fine, because there's nothing obscuring the thing, and so forth. So right now the wind's coming down the Fraser Canyon, and they're right across the Salish Sea, and right and pitching on Port Angeles and Swim and whatnot. But I think it's pretty much over. One thing I thought I would do here real quick is see if I can share, this is the barometer for the last week. And here was that real big high up here, real big high, and then we went down to this low down here, and now you can see the barometer is climbing pretty rapidly up out of this area. So, all the arrows are up here. Anyway, that's why we're getting the wind right now. I think is a pretty rapid pressure change. Okie dokie. Well, I'm about out of time here. Yes, we've got an Aussie in the crowd tonight with the hat there. Very avant-garde, I will say, James. And Jim, it's good to see you there in Covington on the computer tonight. I hope you can see the graph that time on your computer. It's pretty clear on Zoom, but I don't think it's quite so clear when it gets retransmitted. Anyway, so there you go. I'm out of time, so back to you, Dave, in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
WW7KC, thanks for that. And it's time for an ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause in case anybody else wants to join the net at this time. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ and Bottle.
Hey, well, hi again. A little bit better organized now. And thanks to Wade, we communicated offline there, and he told me he was taking care of things, so thanks for that, Wade. So I have a few notes. Yeah, Jim's hat. To me, I don't see Indiana Jones so much as I see a 30s detective going after malls and dames and all of that. That's what I see when I see him wearing that hat. Jessica, I didn't know that one of the LIGO sensors were out by Hanford. It makes sense. They would want it probably someplace, away from populations, and some federal facility like that would be a nice place to have it with lots of land where they could use it. The biggest thing for me, from a physics standpoint, is it confirmed gravity waves. It was the first time gravity waves were directly measured. And I have to admit, for many years, I was a bit of a gravity wave skeptic. I didn't have any good reason for it, just from my, just because no one had ever detected them before. I thought, maybe that works different than electromagnetic waves, but in fact, they don't. They work exactly like electromagnetic waves, and but it's just that it's very, very hard to get anything massive enough moving fast enough to actually be able to measure it, and that's what this LIGO did, and it needed something as massive as binary black holes that were spinning around each other fast enough to create a wave that would be detectable. So there you go. The trees blocking the wind, man, oh man. We deal with trees blocking stuff, blocking our signals as well. Oh, and I have to ask you guys, I need a signal report, because one of the other things in my scurrying around here is I forgot to put out my antenna and raise it up on my deck. So it's sitting under the eaves on my deck, and I hope you're hearing me okay. But anyway, with that, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
9PQ, thanks for that, Bob. Well, let's see if we can pick up Wade again in Tacoma, W7ITL. 7ITL.
7ITL here, just give me a minute to switch in. I had to run upstairs. Let's see. Alright, well, we'll breath because I ran so fast. Well, I don't really have anything for this round, but I will say nice seeing everybody tonight, and I'll turn it back to Dave, and maybe I'll have something in the next round to talk about. Alright, W7ITL, back to net.
ITL, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Yeah, Jim, I'm not sure, but I seem to remember seeing that hat once before. I don't know, maybe it just looks familiar from something I've seen somewhere before. But anyway, you look rather dapper in that hat. I hope you're not wearing it just because you don't like the haircut you got. but that would work too. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. It'll grow back. Not to worry. Let's see. Lee, thank you. I did see the graph of the barometric pressure. Thank you for that. It's easy to resolve on a
something other than the RF, but then I have a generous amount of snow accompanying my video. So anyway, thanks for that. And along those lines, Wade, thank you for putting out that 1.2 picture. I'm assuming that what we're looking at is the output from your down converter there. So yeah, thank you very much for doing that. That is useful information, because whereas I see your video rock solid, mine is, well, now my screen is black. Only my face is not black. Oh, no pun intended. And a picture, well, it just flashed, now it went out, now it's black again. Oh well. So anyway, thanks for that. I should investigate something. But I don't think there are any storms between here and Cougar today. Jessica, thank you for mentioning that sensor out near Hanford. I seem to remember reading something about that somewhere in the past, but I have not seen anything recent about that. So if I have a chance, I'll do some investigating. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
And 7QO, well, let's go to this Aussie bloke, James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. We haven't heard anybody from Australia in a while. If they're listening, they should get in and say hi. Let's see, agricultural fraud. That's a special kind of fraud near and dear to me in my heart, because I remember, I've never done anything agricultural before, but I remember in the 90s I was doing forward That is a thing. When you do forward and futures contracts, people can be trading these contracts, but essentially promises to deliver, say, for example, the feeder cattle at some point in the future. And in my, isn't it embarrassing? After some period of time where everyone's been doing this, there's actually no cattle there. So that's I guess, an embarrassment they try to avoid. Well, the buzzing comes on the squelch tail of this radio, and I'm going to have to figure out, no one else is hearing that phenomenon. There's something at my station that's doing that. Well, yeah, two black holes crashing into each other, gravity waves. I jokingly said to someone when I read all about that, well, did anybody wave back, or were you just rude? And somebody kind of turned, one person just looked at me like, what? And someone else said, well, I didn't know you could do that. And so I didn't, you don't know when a joke like that falls that way, what to say next. Yeah, I mean, you obviously don't want to make fun of anybody. Not everybody's physics nerds like we are. Yeah, that is a noisy squelch cell here. Well, anyway, I have something that's going to shock everyone, and that is, Jim, you used to say just because it's on the internet, well, it must be true. Well, now you can add to that just because an AI said it. Oh, wait, we have a gust of wind. Oh my God. Wait. Oh, it went away. No, as soon as we put the camera on, it went away. Okay, well, anyway, just because it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, now you can say just because an AI said it, well, it must be true. Because today an economist sent me, asked it a question, and it came back, and oh my goodness, there were so many things in there that were just factually wrong. But what the AI did is it harvested garbage off the internet and then has incorporated that into its behavior and its neural network. So yeah, now the new wrong thing is going to be AI, which everyone is just assuming must be correct, right? Because it's a computer. Well, if you're getting all your information off the internet, it's called garbage in, garbage out. But I found that just fascinating to read this, and I've got to get back to him on some of these things. Well, the other thing is I did, for the first time, I don't know, 15 years, maybe longer, I sat in a movie theater and watched Avatar, The Way of Water with 3D glasses on. That was a very interesting experience. Something else, I just not ever sat in a theater in such a long time. I wasn't used to big, giant, comfy chairs and little footrests that come out. But I guess we better get more people in the theater. There's a Saturday matinee, and there was 3 of us total sitting in the theater, 3 of us total. And at one point, a 4th person came in, and I heard him like munching on stuff or something, and then he left or something. So I heard him up behind there somewhere. So maybe he was just a employee or something on his lunch break or something. The last thing, keep your eyes open. I was out on a walk, and I found 2 little power cubes and a whole bag of cables laying on the ground. And they're in such an odd spot, I would send an email out saying, hey, did somebody drop these or lose them or something? But they're in such an odd spot on my walking route, I don't even know who to send the email to. But yes, I tried it out first on the obsolete cell phone. It didn't blow anything up, so I guess they're good. But they are apparently Apple originals, because now do they charge in a hurry compared to those cheapo made in China knockoffs. So anyway, that's it for James WW7 in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM. Take it away, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. And it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. And Jessica was talking about cows, and it brought back a memory to me. I remember back in 1945, boy, take it back a ways. When I was a little kid, we were living in Ritzville, Washington, and the Hanford had released a bunch of radioactive material into the air, and we were warned not to drink this milk from cows. So that was my connection to cows and the dairy process. So that was kind of interesting. Didn't drink the milk, survived the downwinder stuff. So anyway, that's part of history. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU, for his QRP report.
KD7QKU again. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, Jessica was talking about the farmer and the cows that didn't exist. Well, there's been a lot of people in the country who beat the government out of, $1 million over, not over cows, but everything else. They claim they had businesses and employees and all this stuff, and they didn't have. They got all this stimulus money, so there was a tremendous amount of it that it's been disappeared. I don't know if they'll ever recover it. And James sent me a chat saying that QRP on 10 meters is 28,385, and of course no one seems to honor that. If you turn on the radio, there'll be people all over talking near or on it every day, but they're not QRP, they're just regular old hams. So that's maybe you could go on there and maybe they would hear you. I don't know. I'll find out, I guess. And Wade was when I was over to his house, he was working on his car. One of his blind spot indicators didn't work on the right side. He had got a new one, and then he was waiting for a wire harness, I think. So I was just wondering how that came out. And what else? Let's see. I guess that's it for now. So back to Dave, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that, Ron. Let's go on to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Details about that laser interferometers. It points the laser about a mile away. It bounces back, goes through a little prism, bounces a right angle, 90-degree angle to another mirror a mile away, bounces back to the detector. Okay, and they said the reason why you don't pick up things like trucks is because there's a second one down in Livingston, Louisiana, and these things are compared to each other to make sure if anything different than the two of them is where you find the gravity waves. So if the Earth was bumped really hard, then you'd also probably pick that up on these two interferometers. But one, you can drive a truck past all day and it won't trigger because the second one down there in Louisiana didn't get triggered by that truck going by. So I find it really fascinating. Nova had a really great workup on the on the LIGO, and because it was just like this last year when those black holes ran into each other that are, I can't remember how far they were away, but they're millions of light years away, millions and millions of light years away, and it's really kind of neat. Oh, Lee's always got the best information here. Okay, with that, this is KF7 UHK.
UHK, thanks for that. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, Lee here, N7KC in Port Angeles. Well, I like that LIGO stuff too, and I try to follow that a little bit. But I was just going to show you the torsion balance that I got for $75 over at Serenity House in Squim here the other day. It's a balance that measures from, it's hard to see here, but it's from 0 up a little over 500 milligrams. So the full range of this is a half a gram. Okay, it's made by Roller Smith, and they were a company that got in business about 1906 making electrical instruments, and then they got into making precision balances by about 1920. So this has a nice little bubble, has a bubble level in it here, and the paint's just a little bit chewed up, but you can see the one balance arm over here on this is on the right side, and there's a door that opens here that keeps the wind from bothering it, and here's the other balance arm over on the left-hand side with a door that opens and so forth. And what you do is you set the weight that you want, or if you're measuring something, all you do is come around with this dial here until the needle here, the camera's not focusing properly right now, take on it. Anyway, there's a needle here and a mirrored scale. It's hard to see it. But anyway, so maybe let me see if I can make it go here. There you can see the needle over there going up and down. It's kind of mirrored scale. So anyway, this is really, really cool. This is my second Roller Smith. I have one that's a little older that I've had for a number of years, and I use it every 2 weeks to make my warfarin pills up for the next period. So really, really nice balance. So I thought you might get a kick out of seeing this thing. I took this all apart. It didn't work when I got it. You couldn't change this, and it has a lock on a clamping lock here that locks the thing. That's this knob down here. And so none of that was working, so I put it back in operation, and it's got calibration weights came with it, and 2 pans and all that stuff. It's really slicko. $75 City House in Squim. I'm out of time. Thank you, Dave. This is 7KC Lee in Port Angeles. Go ahead.
KC, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Let's see. Lee, yeah, that torsion balance, that is very cool. Very cool. Half a gram full scale. that's pretty nice. Jessica, I really liked your comment about if the Earth was bumped really hard, you might get a false positive. My guess is if the Earth was bumped hard enough to do that, none of us would be around to detect the false positive. So let's hope that doesn't happen. James, I was thinking about you're talking about these must be Apple rather than the cheap made in China stuff. I think all the Apple stuff is made in China too. And it got me thinking. I used to say the same, cheap made in China, but it all comes down to who the manufacturer actually is. There's plenty of good stuff coming out of China. It's just that people want to get the cheap stuff rather than the good stuff, and so that's what you hear about. And agricultural fraud, that's something I haven't really thought of, but yeah, I can see. There are absolutely insurance companies are as skeptical as they are and cost as much as they do. There's endless fraud against insurance companies, and it's just one of those things, part of life, I guess. Okay, well, I haven't mentioned the picture here. This is Sparky. I thought she was in a pretty strange pose with her two front legs, one kind of curled backwards and the other hanging out in front of her. Reminded me of how, toddlers will sometimes go to sleep in a position you just can't possibly imagine they can be comfortable. It looked a bit like that to me. So, there you go. Back to net, K9PQ.
Let's go on down to Wade, W7ITL.
Well, this is W7ITL, and I'm going to make this pretty short. So I'll answer Ron's question about my blind spot detector. It's based off radar technology, so it sends a beam of radio waves out the side of my bumper. I didn't know that when I originally replaced it, so I actually just mounted it kind of haphazardly underneath my wheel well and zip tied it to a cable bundle. So after doing some kind of troubleshooting, I noticed that it was malfunctioning when I was driving. It would just kind of randomly go off. So I did order a new wiring harness, as Ron had mentioned, but I also ordered a replacement. It's a what do you call it? It's basically to allow me to mount it in the spot precisely where it used to be, because when it got damaged, the box that it was mounted in against the metal frame had got smashed, and it was just kind of dangling in the wheel well. So I have not had a chance to take apart that area of the car, because it looks like it's going to require me to take off the entire rear bumper, including all the wiring harnesses and all the LiDAR and radar sensors that are back there. There's two radar sensors, one on each bumper, and then LiDAR sensors across the back plane of the bumper plastic. So when I get a chance, maybe when it's nice out and warm, I'll spend a half afternoon taking that apart and then putting everything back together the way it's supposed to be. And hopefully the blind spot monitor will work. But until then, I've disabled it in the firmware of the car, so it doesn't go off anymore. That's that. Let me see, Lee, I liked your picture. I didn't catch what it was called. Some type of scale for measuring things very precisely at below half a gram. So I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more for this round or next. So 73 to everybody. If I get around to the next round, I'm just gonna say next. W7ITL back to net. Thanks, Dave.
Wade, thanks with that. And get an ID out here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Lee, cool instrument. Bob, Sparky looks pretty laid back there.
Getting low audio output from you, Jim.
Now? Okay. Everything I own is broken. Anyway, I was going to say, Bob, looks like Sparky's pretty laid back there. That's kind of good. Wade, good luck with your car. They can definitely be a problem. I don't know, I was just speaking with someone who had problems with today, just speaking with him about a Mercedes RV, which he bought. He said he owned it for 4 months, and for 3 months it was at the dealer under repair, and they can't seem to get all the parts that they need. So I don't know what's going on, but when he called Mercedes to complain, they said, well, we've got the parts, there's no shortage of parts, we don't know what's going on, our dealer should be able to get it fixed okay. So I don't know what's going on, he doesn't know what's going on, but that's the way it is. So good luck with your car. Let's see. Oh, I did want to comment. I came out to the shack. It was mostly clear outside. I'm still showing 38, which seems to me is same as someone else said. I think it was Dave, maybe. Beautiful partial moon out there tonight and some stars. I think it's going to get chilly. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Dave, and I figured out why the squelch tail was so noisy here. I had the wrong PL tone for our nets. It's 103.5, and so I don't know if well, you couldn't hear everything. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I programmed the radio for a frequency. I need to program in the WW7ATS Wednesday and Saturday night frequency, because the only thing's different is the PL tone. 110.9 is normal for anyone listening, and 103.5 is what we use, so everyone on the Echo Link can hear us okay. So if that's of use to anyone else, remember that. Let's see, I think I too have kind of run out of really important things to say. Now I'm down to unimportant things. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and also pass it back to Dave. Apologies to Lee, you should have said something, and I could have checked that. If my lips are moving and no voice is coming out, I'm either playing a joke on you or I've made a mistake. So, or I'll claim that I was playing a joke on you when I made a mistake. So be sure and tell me when that happens. WU7N, turning back to KD7ZYM.
7N, James, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. I'm going to move it up to Ron for a final KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here. Well, it's been fun. It's always fun to listen to everybody and see what they're doing. And Lee has more instruments and gadgets, and Carter has pills, I think. He's always picking them up someplace. They're always pretty neat. Smart guy, he knows how to figure them out and fix them. I would probably see something like that in an antique store or something and would have no idea what it was. But anyway. Alright guys, probably see you over on Zoom. KD7QKU. I'll be clear. Bye-bye.
7QKU, thanks for that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. And I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. I'd like to thank the ZTAC Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08, the tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions for our nets held on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net a minute early at 8:59. Good evening all.